and thank you for joining us, and welcome to our fifth and final installment of our Division Showcase series. We have saved the largest for last with our Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math Division, or STEM Division for short. For those of you who are tuning in on Facebook and YouTube, we will be selecting some random commenters to win some free swag. And I'm going to go ahead and put up a QR code on your screen. If you are interested in any of our programs here at WVUP, you can scan this picture with your phone. We'll also put a link in the comments section for those of you who are on larger devices. If you'll fill that information out, somebody from the admissions team will be reaching out to you with more specific information about the program that you are interested in. So my name is Kenna Warren, and I am an admissions counselor for West Virginia University at Parkersburg. And I, along with another admissions counselor, are going to be your hosts today. So let's introduce our lovely panel members. And if everybody could give us what your name is, what your title is, if you're affiliated with a particular program, and briefly how you ended up at WVUP. And I am going to start with Barbara. Barbie, you're muted. Barbie, I think your microphone's muted.
All right, let's try that again. Good evening. I'm Barbara Dunbar. I'm also an admissions counselor here at WVU Parkersburg. I'm going to sit alongside as we learn more about the STEM division this evening, and I'll provide you with some admissions as well as financial aid information.
Jared, you want to kick us off?
Sure. My name is Jared Gump, and I'm the chair of the Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math Division. I actually teach the physics courses here at the college, which is affiliated with the Associate in Science program. I ended up at WVUP after I had been working for a while in Maryland. My wife and I decided to move back to West Virginia. We're originally from the area, not from Parkersburg specifically, but from the North Central, and was just looking to come back here to raise our family. And then I applied as a faculty member and ended up getting the division chair positions.
And I think I'm next. So I'm Elizabeth Nick. I actually am the administrative associate here in the STEM division. So I work alongside Jared and all the faculty. I am not affiliated with any of the programs. I'm here on behalf tonight for the chemical polymer program, since Bill couldn't be here at the moment. And how I ended up at WVUP, well, this is my second go around. So first time it was just a temporary position, and apparently they liked me, so they kept me. And then the second time it was supposed to be. It was just meant to be, and Jared snatched me back as quick as he could. So I'm glad to be back.
Okay, that's me. My name's Gary Thompson. I teach in the Associates of Applied Science in Computer Science and the Bachelor of Applied Technology in Software Engineering programs. I got to Parkersburg, West Virginia by way of the West Coast. So I grew up in Parkersburg. I went to high school here, and not so very long after graduating, I went west. I worked my way through college. I got a degree in electrical engineering at the University of Washington, and then moved to work for a while there, and then moved to San Francisco. I got a master's degree in computer science from San Francisco State. I lived and worked in the Silicon Valley for 20 years. And then some personal family issues brought me back to Parkersburg about 10 years ago. I've been here ever since. And I find that teaching computer science at WVUP is it's an opportunity for me to give back to the community where I got started.
Well, I'm next, it looks like. My name is Charles Almond. I have been a professor here at WVUP for 20 years. I went to Wheeling Jesuit University, and while I was there, I had a lot of good internship opportunities and some very good classes there. When I graduated from there, I worked at DuPont through a contractor and did a bunch of computer IT work and a little bit of computer science work there. And then from there, I came to WU Parkersburg and started teaching originally in our IT program, doing a lot of networking and systems administration work. Um, I simultaneously worked for a startup company out of Belpre, Ohio, doing software development, and then switched to teaching computer science. I earned a master's degree through Marshall University in technology management, and then later earned a second master's degree in software engineering through WVU. And I also teach computer science and software engineering. And for my sins, I'm also the program coordinator of those programs. And so that basically just means I got to do a lot of paperwork behind the scenes. But I've been teaching at WVUP for 20 years now, and it's very rewarding, especially to see students who come in with not a lot of necessarily uh, in-depth knowledge, but a lot of enthusiasm, being able to help them to grow and develop and see them launch careers that can really be life-altering. It's very rewarding to see students succeed when they go through our program.
I think I'm next. I'm Nellum Karunathilaka. I'm the assistant professor of chemistry. And if I give you a background about me, I'm from Sri Lanka. And how I came to US, I came to the University of Nevada, Reno, to complete my PhD. Just after finishing my PhD, I joined to WVUP to teach chemistry. So from 2018 fall, I have been teaching chemistry, all chemistry courses at WVUP.
Yes, I guess I'll go next. My name's Craig Giffen. I've been in multiple career fields, and I ended up with industrial maintenance. I have an assistant professor here at the college. I'm a program coordinator for the industrial maintenance certificate. And with that certificate, it's part of the multi-craft associate degree. It's 1 year of the degree, and the other year would be electrician, working as electronics. So I came here from multiple career fields, and I just ended up here. So I like to fix things, ended up being liking to teach also. So it's been pretty rewarding for everyone and for me.
Hey, my name is Uta Hempel, and I'm originally from Germany. So I got my master's degree at the Technical University in Aachen. And then I went for my doctorate, and I got it from the University of Constance. So I did mainly like cell biology and physiology. I'm actually a phytopathologist by trade. So that was my PhD thesis about. I moved with my family to West Virginia in 2000, now I have to think, 2006. Actually, I followed my husband, who is an aerospace engineer and works for a big company, more kind of in Jackson County. And since he left a job in Japan to follow me to a job, I decided now it's my turn to actually follow him. And I started teaching at WVUP as an adjunct in the January of 2010. I got a full-time position in 2011, and I teach general biology, like introduction to biology. I taught some of the A and P classes. I taught botany. So I kind of teach everything. We all of us kind of teach everything in biology. And so I'm associated with the STEM or associate in science program. And I love it here. So.
My name is Holly Martin, and I'm an associate professor of biology. And let's see, I started at WVUP in 2008 as an adjunct. After I finished my graduate work at Ohio University, I studied molecular and cellular biology. And I loved it so much that I got a full-time position in 2009 and just have really enjoyed it. And so most of the students I work with are in the Associate of Science program. And kind of like Dr. Hempel, I teach a little bit of everything in biology, including human anatomy and physiology. So I also work with the nursing students a lot as well. And I love it too.
I guess that leaves me. My name is Jamie Murray. I'm the instructor for the residential commercial electric program. And I, kind of like other people said, I come here by way of many different job fields. I've been in the electrical field for more than 20 years, and I enjoy seeing people learn, and I enjoy teaching them. I I feel that one of the greatest things you can do with your time is to teach somebody else how to do something. And this job has really fit me and my personality well. I enjoy meeting new people, which I get to all the time. I enjoy teaching people, which of course that's my job. But, I come here by way of just looking for that spot that I needed to be. And, I enjoy what I do, and hopefully I can help others enjoy the electrical field as well.
All right, awesome. Thank you all for sharing a little bit about how you've ended up at WVUP. It sounds like we have a pretty healthy spread of people who are involved not only in their career fields, but in the WVUP community, and then also in the general Parkersburg and Mid-Ohio Valley community. So that's so cool to see how it spreads across. So since our STEM division is our largest division in terms of programs, I'm going to go ahead and put on the screen the full list of programs that we offer out of our STEM division. And for our panelists, if you are affiliated with a particular program, can you give just a brief overview of the program? What are some of the things that you guys are teaching students, and what types of careers it prepares them for?
Does it matter who goes first?
Okay. I guess
Take it
I'll
away,
probably-
Elizabeth.
Yeah, you can go ahead and start. I'll finish up with the programs that aren't represented then. So.
Okay, well, all right. Well, I'm here to represent the Chemical and Polymer Operator Technology Program. This is a 32-hour Certificate of Applied Science program. And it's basically your 4 semesters, and each semester alternates. So your first semester is strictly classwork. And so, you're going to be in the lab, you're going to learn about the instruments that chemical operators use. The second semester is field experience. So you get that hands-on experience in an actual plant. Usually we go with Chemours. So they'll get you in there, you'll be working a 12-hour shift, just like they do. And I think they alternate shifts, if I'm not mistaken, like DuPont does. Your third semester, you'll have more classwork. And then your fourth and final semester, you'll have another field experience. And then you get to graduate with that certificate. And with that certificate, I have to cheat a little here with my paper. There are several positions that it can get for you. And especially around here, we have many plants that you can go to work in. So we have, you can do gas plant operators, a chemical equipment operator and tender, chemical plant and systems operator, power plant operators, pump operators, wellhead pumpers, anything along that lines. The list goes on and on and on. So it's a really, really good program, not just to learn about how things work in the plants or what happens, but to actually get that hands-on experience. So with that, I don't think anyone can go wrong. Jared, what about you?
Yeah. I would just mention that they, when they're out at the plant, it's a learn and earn opportunity, so they get paid while they're out there. And you may want to mention your brother who went through the program.
Oh yeah, my brother. I try to always use him as an example. I think he completed in August of 2018, I'm not mistaken. No, I'm sorry, May of 18. And he did so well that DuPont really, really liked him. And they finally hired him on full time in August of 2018. And he is currently still there making a great living. And, you know, his wife is a stay at home mom. They have 3 children. So it's definitely a great career move. And like Jared said, yes, you get paid while you are working. So.
All right. The next thing that we want to talk about, the Computer and Information Technology program. That's the program I originally started teaching in. I was actually one of the creators of the program originally when it came in 2000. Our CIT program is very hands-on. We are associated with the Cisco Networking Academy. If you're familiar with Cisco Systems, a very large international company in networking. And our program is built on really kind of 3 things. We have foundational courses in like hands-on computers in terms of like tearing a computer apart, putting a computer together. That's covered in our CIT 101 course. And in fact, that is what you will do. You'll spend probably half of your time physically disassembling and assembling computers from different components and learning about the different parts that make up a computer, installing operating systems, troubleshooting them. Then we have a couple of other classes. We have a Introduction to Information Security class and a Principles of Information Systems class. Those kind of lay the foundation. And then there are 2 kind of pillars in this program. We have a Systems Administration pillar, if you will, where you take several classes on Windows and Linux, and you'll learn how to install, configure, manage, maintain, troubleshoot Windows and Linux operating systems as both workstation and server. And then we have a series of classes on networking, where you'll learn how to make cables, how to configure wired and wireless networking, how to configure routing and switching, how to build networks for a local company, how to build networks for an internet provider. And then we cap it off with a capstone class. In that capstone class, you sort of combine all of those skills together into one large project. In addition to that, we also pay for you to take a certification exam. In that program, it is the Network Plus certification exam. And we use that to measure our program success against industry standards. So we actually pay for you to take that because we need that data to measure our program's effectiveness. But the advantage is not only do you get a 2-year degree, but you also get a certification if you pass. In addition, we have a very large learn and earn opportunity in that program. And the learn and earn, as Jared discussed with the chemical and polymer operators, is essentially a grant that the state of West Virginia provides to certain employers where they'll pay half of the salary. And so a lot of employers will hire our students because they can hire them effectively at half cost. So students will actually get college credit and earn money while they're in the program. And at this point, honestly, right now, we have more positions than we have students. And so if you are worth anything at all, if you're any good at all, you get a job. It's a really fabulous opportunity. Now, that actually, as a 2-year degree, is the first half of our bachelor's degree. We're a little different in how we structure our bachelor's degree. Every other college out there, WU, Marshall, Ohio University, Ohio State, you go 4 years to earn a bachelor's degree. With our programs, they're part of what we call a career ladder. And so the first 2 years is an associate's degree. And then the second 2 years is your bachelor's degree. So halfway through earning your bachelor's degree, you get a college credential, you're employable. And that CIT program is the foundation that goes into our cybersecurity and network administration degree. And so in addition to the introduction to security class that you take in the IT degree, you'll take a ethics class, you'll take an information system security class, an operating system security class. We offer a computer forensics class. In addition, you'll take some advanced routing classes and advanced networking classes and some more advanced systems administration classes. So that program actually has kind of 3 pillars. We have systems administration and advanced systems administration, advanced networking, and cybersecurity in that degree. And then that's also capped off by a capstone class where you combine all of those skills. A great number of our people who work in the Learn and Earn program go on to work full-time for the companies that they start out in. It's an option. A lot of people will come back and finish their degree. They'll come back full-time and finish their degree. But employment is easy to come by if you have the skills that we offer in this program. That takes us into our computer science program, which is the other half of that career ladder. In the computer science program, we teach people how to write software. And so you'll learn how to write computer applications, how to configure, manage, install, maintain, troubleshoot databases, how to design dynamic web pages and build and design dynamic web applications. And you'll also take a few of the IT classes as well, because a lot of those skills translate between them. In fact, you can actually get both degrees with only 5 different classes. And if people are willing to do that, I highly encourage people to do that. But the computer science program lays the foundation to be a software developer, ultimately a software engineer. This, according to the West Virginia Department of Employment, is one of the fastest growing industries in the state. It's also, according to the U.S. News and World Report, top 100 jobs. For the last several years, it was the #1 job. This year, it got bumped down to #2. But the average salary nationally is roughly 6 figures, right at $100,000 nationally. Now, that's with 5 to 10 years of experience. But our computer science program is the foundation for that. And just like our CIT program, that's the first half of that career ladder into the other option in the Bachelor of Applied Technology. And that other option is the software engineering degree. And so software engineering is a little different from computer science. Computer science, you learn how a computer works, how to write programs. Software engineering, you certainly continue your understanding of that, but you get more into the why certain things. You learn how to design software and how to solve business problems with software. And so that program, we have advanced web development, advanced web design, systems analysis and design, project management, software engineering as a program class. And you might also take a class in embedded systems where you might learn to work with things like a Raspberry Pi or Arduino, a number of other opportunities there. At this point in time, for the last, I'd say at least 5 years, every single person that's graduated from that program has already had a career position before they've finished. We right now have 3 people, getting ready to graduate, and they all have career positions. 2 of them are working for Realtor.com, and one of them's working for a manufacturing plant in Ravenswood. 2 years ago, we had a fellow who graduated, and he's actually working for NASA right now in Fairmont, doing software development. Last year, I had a student who went on to graduate school at WVU. Basically, if you finish the program, you will have a very, very good career. And again, like the BAT with the IT cybersecurity side, it's a career ladder. So the first half is your associate's degree. You get an academic credential halfway through your bachelor's degree. You're employable. You have learn and earn opportunities in the computer science degree as well. Every student that has gotten into the capstone class in the last 2 years has also worked in a learn and earn position where they earn money and college credit while they're in school. And so when you graduate, you've got credentials, you've got work experience. Like the IT program, we have a certification exam also that we pay for in the 2-year degree capstone. And then you also have academic credit. And so it's really a fabulous opportunity. Right now, I have a daughter at WVU. She's wanting to become a veterinarian. And 1 year of college at WVU would cover your entire bachelor's degree at WVU Parkersburg. And for the opportunity that you get with these 2 programs, the IT cybersecurity or CS software engineering, we are the best bang for your buck anywhere. Really encourage you to consider it. It's very interesting work. It's also work you can do from home. Nobody that I know during this whole pandemic was off for a single day. Instead of just going into the office, they just work from home. It's a really fabulous opportunity.
Charles, I'd just note one of the things that I like the way you guys set this up, because I have students come in all the time and they're like, I'm not sure if I want IT or if I want CS. But like you said, the way it's set up, if you go into say IT and decide I really like my programming class, I might prefer CS, you can switch degrees and you're not losing a whole lot of credit because there's enough overlap there. So you'll get a taste of both no matter what you go into. And I think that works out well.
Yes, it really does. We're very hands-on oriented too. You get a lot of real world experience.
Yeah, I'd like to add a little bit to that too. The software engineering program, the the final deliverable of the capstone class in the software engineering program is that every student will design, develop, and stand up a working web application. This is exactly the work that most software engineering, most practicing software engineering engineers in the industry today, this is what they do for a living. So Charles says that this is hands-on. Absolutely it is. We teach students to do exactly the things that they do when they go to work. As a matter of fact, we had a student last year who in the summer between his junior and senior year took an internship at McDonnell Douglas in McDonnell Douglas in San Diego. And he was put in charge, he was put with a group of other co-ops and interns from other colleges around the country, from colleges like Cornell and other major universities. And he was the only one among them who had the agile software development skills, who actually had practice developing software using agile software skills that the company required. All of the other students were coming to him, asking him for advice, help, how to go about what they were doing. As a matter of fact, Ethan never returned to Parkersburg from that internship. He finished his degree remotely, graduated in June of last year. He came back to Parkersburg to graduate. He returned to San Diego, where within a week of graduation, he got a promotion and a raise to a medium level software engineer.
Level one. They told him at the end of the summer, they said, now this is after only 3 years. They told him at the end of the summer, they said, you're already working you could send us to fill the internship spot. And so we sent him one of our other students. And that student is also working as an intern right now. And upon graduating in May is expecting to get a full-time offer. So.
We're pretty proud of our program.
Yes. All right, Calix, good luck following us, buddy.
Greg, Jamie, do you want to share more about some of our industrial technology programs?
Sure. Yeah, how do you follow that? Like I said, this is the residential and commercial electric. It's a fairly new program. We started just a couple of years back. We do have people out working in the job force as well. And, this can piggyback on so many different things. You can go into industry, you can go into the union, you can go in, you can embark on your own if you'd like. And, I got to tell the former students or current students, it's a learning process. You'll never, ever know it all. And you can go to work for DuPont. You can go to work for any factory that has electric in it. And I can't think of one that doesn't. So it's quite a wide open field. What I do here is I give you the knowledge and skills that you need to go forth and to get that job, that entry level job, and to work yourself up. Now, we do work into into the curriculum, the apprentice license for the state of West Virginia. And one of your final things that you do here before you leave is you do take that apprentice level exam at the state. And, we go over the NEC book, the National Electric Code, extensively. I want you to know the code in which you're doing this work and how to do it properly and how to do it safely. I spoke to a student just before this. It was kind of ironic that he had called me, and he works in Roane County for a contractor. And, I was asking him how, how things were going. He said it was great. He really enjoyed it. Matter of fact, I've set him up to come in and speak to the current students about what it's like to be an electrician, what it's like to be the new guy on the job site. And so he's going to come back and share his experiences with the students. And I like to use prior or previous students to do that, because that gives everybody the best understanding of what life is like once you leave the college. Now, we're working on creating a new lab that you can see behind me. We've got it probably 75, 80% up and running. And there's still little things that I want to improve and grow as time goes by. And this work was all done by the students. I instructed them how to run the conduit. They even built the booths behind you. They installed the panels. Everything that was done in here, the students did. So it gave them some hands-on and real world experience, not just listening to me tell them. They actually got to do it. And my outlook is the more time I can spend with your hands working on the materials, doing everything from wiring single pole switches to four-way switches to installing lights to installing sub panels or disconnects or whatever it might be that I feel that students need when they leave here to be able to enter the workforce and be effective. And we try to do all that stuff in the lab, and so it gives you a little bit more of a feel for what you're heading into. And the program is fairly new, but it's been so far in my eyes effective and efficient, because we do have people entering into the job field. And there was a study done not too long ago that showed that the reduction in the amount of people who actually want to get into the trades has led to increased pay for those who do. And the study that I'm referring to, and I can't remember who put it out there, so whomever it is, sorry, I can't remember who the study was done by, but it showed that a lot of tradesmen enter the field, especially in the electrical field, being able to make either just under $100,000 a year or right at $100,000, depending on the location. And it's very easy to provide for yourself and for your loved ones once you leave here with the knowledge that hopefully I can give you. So it's a great program. I enjoy it. Like I said, I've been doing this for over 20 years, and not the teaching part, but the hands-on electrical trade. And I've got a lot of real world experience that I share, and we try to do it in an upbeat, light manner so that it's kind of fun to come in here and share with each other. Students already coming back and said, hey, I did this, or hey, I did that, or I know somebody that needs some work done. Can you help me with it? And more than glad to set up the scenario here in the lab and work through it so that they can go out and put their hands on it and feel comfortable doing it. So the program, hopefully, and so far it's worked, people leave here happy and feeling as though they've accomplished something through the program.
And Jamie, I just mentioned this is, since it's a certificate program, they get all these skills in just that 1 year period. And we're working on, and I know you're aware of this, a potential combination with our E&I, which will probably be mentioned later. It's the industrial electrical side, to potentially have an associate degree option for electrical trades. So
yes, Mr. Raleigh, I believe, was working on that, and he had contacted me about that. And I think it's great. Anytime we can give the students another option, it's great. And I'm sure that's up and coming, and they'll be here as soon as possible.
Absolutely. And these are all definitely great programs with plenty of educational opportunities embedded. So if a couple of our instructors could give us some of your favorite topics that you cover in your classes.
I would say the most thing that we get most excited for industrial maintenance is if you like to fix things, that's it. We're going to tear it apart and we're going to put it back together, and we're going to make it right. So if it's already broke, it's man-made. It can't be that hard, right? So we fix it and get it running again.
So how many leftover pieces constitutes a bee?
Hey, that's efficiency, Jamie.
Yeah, we're not supposed to have anything left over.
Oh, okay. Well, I better not take that class because I always have parts left over.
That's because you're efficient.
Yeah, so we get to mess with a lot of different things, not just one little part of the career field. So we encompass everything. So from with you with electric, we're working with electric, we're working with welding, we're working with, well, anything. If we don't have it, we make it. If we need it, we invent it if we really have to. So you find a way to get it done safely and efficiently. So.
I think one of my favorite things is in our programming 2 class, I start to teach them how to do some graphical programs. And so we start with something fairly simple. We start.
Charles, let me interrupt you. Let me talk about the Colossal Cavern Adventure in the world of Zoo first, because I think it will lead into that, okay?
Okay.
So in our introduction to program, as a final project, we develop, each student develops an interactive text-based computer game. It's called The World of Zoo, and it is, like I say, it's a text-based adventure game. It's based upon the Colossal Cave Adventure, which is a very, very, very early, built in the 1970s, early 1970s computer game. It was built, it's completely text interactive, and it really is the forefather of most interactive video games today, including first-person shooter games like Call of Duty or these types of programs, or role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons or some of the other role-playing games, the modern games. So this game, based upon Colossal Cave Adventure, is an opportunity for students to take everything that they've learned throughout their first programming class and use their own creativity to build a world of Zool where they move from room to room, whether it's in a cave or in a mansion or in a dark, dark forest. It's everybody really enjoys developing this game. At the end of the semester during finals week, everybody stands up and presents their game to the class and shows basically their own creativity and how to play the game that they've developed. That's the introduction to programming game. Now, Charles, talk about the second class and how you build on that.
So in the second class, I have them write a working blackjack game. So they do a card game, and I'll have them do that as a graphical application. And so actually, we just started that last week, and we've actually developed a blackjack game through the whole semester. Now they're putting the graphical front end on it. They're very excited about that. And then what we'll do is use that and show how you can take software you've already written and extend it. And we're going to, for the final project, they'll actually write a 5-card stud poker game. And these have a lot of moving parts, but they're very well defined. And I like that because it's a very straightforward. The rules of blackjack have been set for a very long time. It's not something where it's confusing about what's going on. So students can really focus on the program. But it's really fun to see them get something working that they can work with. They enjoy writing the games. And then later on in the third programming class, Gary has them do a free cell game as well. So
and then finally in our object-oriented design class, we take all of that experience building card games and use that to develop a design for a framework of card games that can add new games easily using existing parts like existing cards and existing building blocks to put together in new and different ways to play new and different card games?
I just want to say something. All this computer stuff is really great and I enjoy it. But you do realize without us electricians, you all wouldn't be doing anything, right?
Well, and we appreciate
Well,
it.
and I would like to point out that in our biology classes, such as the course I'm teaching this semester, which is Principles of Evolution, I'm having my students actually do a semester-long research project on SARS-CoV-2,
Oh, nice.
which is the virus that causes COVID-19. So it's a real practical experience of doing real-time primary literature research.
Nice.
Like we're literally learning what's happening with this virus, and the students are getting kind of firsthand experience with doing literature research and reading how science works, right? We're living it right now. So
that's very cool, Holly.
yeah, and most of the students, I got to get a plug for the Associate of Science degree, which is a 2-year degree for transfer students who want to go into a career in sciences. So a lot of our students who come out of our program, they go on to be doctors and pharmacists and dentists and scientists, biologists, and chemists. So I just had to get that little plug in there for our future
My family
scientists.
doctor, my family doctor got our 2-year Associate of Science degree here and then transferred to Morgantown to finish out his 4-year degree and get his medical doctor. So I know firsthand what she's talking about.
Yeah, and let me point to, and Jared, you can talk about this, Dr. Goff, a little bit more about our articulation agreements with WVU.
Oh, yes, definitely. I mean, we have some 2+2 agreements in a lot of the basic sciences like biology, chemistry, physics. We also have a 2+2 in math. But one thing that I would say, as Charles mentioned, we had some students that would leave and go on to get bachelor's and then go into medical and pharmacy. Well, now most of those programs don't even require a 4-year degree. You can get all the prerequisite coursework done here at WVUP, and we've had students that go straight from WVUP now into the School of Osteopathic Medicine. We've had students go straight into pharmacy school and get accepted. So you don't even have to transition out for a lot of these professional programs anymore, because the only thing they're requiring are, say, like an MCAT score and the prerequisite coursework. So they don't even require the bachelor's anymore. But we do have some options for bachelor's here that they can get, if they choose to do that before they transfer out. But yeah, a lot of them nowadays don't even, will just can go straight from here into those programs now.
If I might chime in, so over the winter break, I talked to one of my former students who took biology 101 with me, and he's now in his second semester at one of a very prestigious engineering school or pre-engineering school as an undergrad student. He came to us as a high school student. And first of all, his class is transferred, even though we do not have an agreement with that university. But after seeing our syllabus, his biology class is transferred. Now, and then I have to talk about Dr. Gump. He said, Dr. Gump was the best physics instructor I ever had, in high school, in college. So what you offer at WVUP can easily compete with some of the top undergrad engineering schools. So I think we are fairly competitive when it comes to knowledge, but we are really under competitive when it comes to the price. So our education is, I don't want to say cheap because that's the wrong word, but it's really affordable. And then once you get your 2-year degree or your 4-year degree, then you can go to some of the other schools. And I'm in contact with some of my former students, one who's now at a research program at Marshall University. Another of my former students is at the Wharton School for Business right now. And actually, while we were talking, he sent me a picture of a bird that he found while being out there birding. So coming to WVUP it's really affordable. And also it's a small university, so you get to know your professors. So if a student asks me for a recommendation, I know them. I mean, usually I know them, and I can say, yes, this is a great student, and just get them into your program because they performed really well here. And there was a question about what we do right now, like in our classes. So one thing that we do in the biology lab, so we have all the tools like to do polymerase chain reaction, so PCR, or isolate proteins or isolate DNA. And we can do that, and we do that in our classes. In one of my biology labs, I'm actually looking at fish muscle proteins, and we are comparing different fish species and then looking at how those fish species are related because they have similar muscle proteins. Or in one of my lectures, I'm because I like genetics, but I don't like to talk about peas. And if you're a professor and then you talk about green pea and yellow pea, and especially when you talk with an accent like me, people will start chuckling. So I start teaching genetics with dogs. So I have a series about dog genetics. And every professor here at that university tries to put something extra into their classes. So coming here is I think it's really worthwhile. My son actually is taking classes here right now, and once my daughter is old enough, I try to convince her to take classes here too. So.
I know I want to give Craig an opportunity to speak about the programs that he's involved with too, because I think he's about the only one besides me coming up with the last two. But if you want to mention those areas real quick.
I can. I mainly teach industrial maintenance classes. I do have a multi-craft classes that I teach. We do robotics. We do CNC programming. What industrial maintenance and multi-craft do is we take the electricity, we take the hands-on skills, we take the welding, and we kind of put it all together. You have many paths that you can take, not just industrial maintenance. You can you can start there and start you can learn, you can add the welding to it, you can add the electricity to it. So you actually become the craftsman of that field that you're in. You may be the only person that's working in maintenance, but you're highly skilled in welding, electricity, CNC programming, robotics is the newer one. So there's many directions you can go from industrial maintenance. Like I said before, I like to tell most people, if you're in industrial maintenance, you're either fixing something, repairing something, inventing something, or putting it all back together because somebody took it apart. They're not going to tell you they took it apart. You just got to figure out to get it back apart. So, and then I like to say it's man-made. How hard could it be? It's not rocket science, but it kind of is. You're putting the rocket together. So it gets exciting sometimes.
Yeah. And I'll just add, we've had at least 3 of our programs that we offer right now in those areas were requested by local companies. So Hino Motors asked us to develop our advanced manufacturing, which combines some of those programs. And then Constellium is running 2 of them with full scholarships for students that apply for their programs as well. So these are definitely driven by, local needs in the area. And I just wanted to mention the last 2 areas that weren't represented here. One which would be our drafting program. This is an area where students learn to do 3D modeling and 3D renderings of parts, components. They also look into architecture. They have specific classes for doing 3D modeling for computer programs. There's a specific one for that fits into that software engineering program. And they're going to learn a lot of different design packages that are used in the area, like AutoCAD, 3D Studio Max, MicroStation, Inventor. You'll have experience with all of these. They're learning our opportunities in that program as well with local companies. We've got students that were hired at WinCore, Burgess and Nightbowl. So a lot of the companies come to us and are asking, do you have any graduates that are ready? Because we're looking to hire. The last program is welding. think a lot of our students, will come in. We have both a certificate in welding and an associate in welding, so you can do 1 year or 2 years. There's also a learn and earn opportunity there. Our welding labs are state of the art. We have individual booths for each of our students to use with their own equipment. And they all have individual vent hoods to make sure that you're operating in a safe environment. A lot of these students will get hired into local plant areas, and we're working right now with Thermo Fisher, sending students there and training some of their local workers as well. So I just wanted to make sure that at least all of our degree areas were represented. I know we're pushing our time limit, but with that many programs, it takes some time sometimes.
Oh, that's great. To move along, can you guys give us some examples of some hands-on learning that's offered within your programs? And specifically, let's hit on like learning labs, machines, equipment, and things the students have that they can utilize within your programs. Jamie, I know you work in the lab, so would you like to start us off and tell us what you're working on?
Sure. One of my favorite things to teach the students is that the conduit bending aspect of electrical. Most people, when they come into the program, they don't really pay any attention to conduit out. You could be at Walmart or Kroger's or anywhere and look, and the electricity is protected by conduit. Well, there had to be somebody that knew how to bend that conduit to make it look the way it does. And that's one of my favorite things to teach them is some of the math behind it. I enjoy math, and the ability to actually take a straight piece of conduit and make it into whatever you need it to be with just a handheld bender. We also have some mechanical benders that we use, and it prepares them to hit the job force ahead of a lot of apprentices that I've seen over the years. A lot of times apprentices will come out and they'll be completely green and they'll have to learn everything on the job. But hopefully when they leave here, they can hit the job site and be ready to go and be a more productive part of the job. But the conduit bending and wire pulling is probably the two most fun, because the kids don't realize how hard it is when they first start. But then as they do it, they see it's more difficult. But then it's nice to see at the end when they've bent the conduit and they've pulled the wires in, and the light bulb comes on, not only in their heads but in the booths as well. When they flip that switch and the light comes on, and they go, "I did that." And so, the hands-on conduit bending and stuff is probably I'd say the favorite of most of the students.
I know in our IT program, we have a subscription to a couple of different services, one from Microsoft, one from a company from VMware, that'll give students access to download software that's used in the industry and do hands-on. So like students actually get a copy of Microsoft Windows, and with VMware, they can install something called a virtual machine where they can install a copy of Windows and actually do the full setup with that. So in the IT program, it's very extensively hands-on with that. I mean, by the time you're out of the program, you've probably installed Windows a dozen times and configured Active Directory and a bunch of other services with it. And then for our Cisco Networking Academy, we have more hands-on equipment than any other school in the state. We actually have 6 full racks of equipment. Everybody gets several pieces of equipment to work with. I wish I had a picture of all of that. It's really extensive. So there's a lot of hands-on opportunity with that. And then same thing in the computer science side. We do a lot of application development. In my mobile app development class, my students just finished a mobile blackjack program, and then they're getting ready to start a mobile application for a weather application. So a lot of real world hands-on in our stuff as well. And Craig, I know you do a ton of stuff in the industrial maintenance with that stuff you've got.
Yeah, we start with you can concentrate in whatever area that you're interested in, from machining to planning robots, CNC, computer controlled machines. The welding, you can automate that. And so about everything that I'm dealing with, industrial maintenance, multi-craft, electricity, it's hands-on. the theory in the book, it just gets you started, but you can go in any direction. And most people find out what they're good at, and that's what they concentrate on. And you can do that when it comes to maintenance type work.
Well, I'd like to mention that our labs at the college are pretty new. They were built in the last few years, so they are brand spanking new. They're beautiful. And as Dr. Hempel mentioned, we have a lot of great equipment. We can do some genetics experiments. We have microscopes, and the new equipment that we just got last week is a virtual cadaver table where we can do virtual dissections for our human anatomy and physiology classes. So we're just learning how to do that, and we're so excited to share that with our students.
I'm not even in the classes and I'm excited. So
Pretty cool.
And
Can I have a couple of you discuss for what program you're affiliated with? Go in depth a little bit about the programs, accreditations, and certifications that are available to our students.
I can speak closely on, we got an NCCR certification that you actually get the same time you're working on your degree or your certificate. So we are an accredited institution for NCCR, which is National Center for Construction, Education, and Research. So we work along with them. And it's not just industrial maintenance, it's E&I, it's residential, and there's several topics of people that are affiliated with NCCER. So.
now I know with the the Learn and Earn Chemical and Operator Technology program, during their courses, they cover OSHA. Is it the OSHA 10 or OSHA 30, Dr.
It's OSHA 30 for the chem polymer program. Yeah, so they'll come out with their OSHA 30 card, and that program has some NCCR certifications plus the Center for Applied Polymer Technology, I think, is the program that they're affiliated with.
On the IT program, we have several certifications that students can take. There are 2 different Microsoft certifications for Windows. There is a certification they could take for the Linux operating system. There's a Security Plus certification they could take from CompTIA, a computer hardware certification called the A Plus certification, also from CompTIA. And then they have Cisco CCNA networking certification that are all possible. And then in the cybersecurity, there are probably a half a dozen other certifications as well that our courses correspond to that they could sit for. On the software engineering, they can take for the 2-year degree, they take the Microsoft Software Development Fundamental certification as part of the capstone class. On the IT side, for the capstone class, they take the CompTIA Network Plus exam. And then on the software engineering side for the capstone, we actually are just now starting to have them sit for an IEEE certification exam on software engineering. So there are quite a few with our computer programs.
Yeah, and definitely for the, I know for the drafting, they take the American Design and Drafting Association exam for their capstone, and welding definitely has various American Welding Society certifications that they get throughout, as well as some state welding certifications that are included in their program as well. And they do different pipe tests, bend tests, different things that they'll have to do to get their certifications for the American Welding Society. But there are multiple ones that they cover throughout that program.
Perfect. Can you guys briefly let us know what one thing is that you would want prospective students of ours to know about your programs, or just one thing in general that you think makes WVUP stand out above the rest?
I think it's the same thing for us. This is the best bang for your educational buck. Hands and away, the best bang for your educational buck.
And the class sizes are just perfect, 7 to 8, a lot. So we get to know who our students are, where they're coming from, and what direction that they want to go. We can help them with that.
I'd like to add that the chemical polymer program, it's not like any of the other programs locally. To my knowledge, they are basically online and they don't offer field experience, where ours not only has some equipment in the labs that the students are introduced to, they actually get to go have that field experience, and it's like it's working a real job, a real life work experience. So that's very important.
I think for all of us, it's a great hands-on real. We're very real world with all of our programs, and we offer a lot of ready to work skills. People will come out of our program able to walk into a job already having an OSHA 30 card, already having done the tasks. A good example, one of our professors who's not here right now, Doug Rhodes, he went through our 4-year program, that basically what we now have as cybersecurity. And his first job, they required a year of experience, but the hiring manager was familiar with our program, and right out of college, he considered our college experience equivalent to 1 year of real world experience and hired him. And I think you'll find that in a lot of our programs, not just the computer programs, but all of our programs are like that.
I'd also like to add one last thing is everyone in the STEM division, we all work well together, and we always have the students' best interests at heart. Mm-hmm. We're always here to try to guide them in the right way. If we don't know the answer, we'll find someone who does and just help them along their journey here in college.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And you guys are so fun to work with and share information about your programs. But we are running a little close on time. So I do want to switch gears just a little bit and talk about some information that's more general for students, maybe not necessarily division related. And the next question that I want to answer for our viewers are about what are some of the support structures that we have in place to ensure that students are successful both in and out of the classroom. And so I'll go ahead and kick us off talking about student activities. So outside of the classroom, we have a lot of different things going on throughout the year, throughout the day if you're on campus, and student activities is one area that is a great way for students to get involved. They do everything from programming during that lunch period to some evening events. One of the ones that we just actually wrapped up was a WVP's Got Talent competition. And if that is something that interests any of our viewers, you can actually scroll back through some of the videos on our YouTube or Facebook and watch the finale of our second season of that. So just a lot of different cool things that they have. Our activities coordinator and our wellness coordinator do a good job of putting events on to get students engaged and meeting with other students outside of the classroom as well. What are some of the other support structures that we have for our students?
I'll mention, WVUP cares about all of our students and not just about their grades, but them as individuals as well. One of the things is the wellness center. It's located over by the cafeteria, and it's open and it's free for all the students. It's there for you when you need to go blow off some steam, and it's a great place to go and just maybe work out or just exercise something to help keep the creative juices flowing. And afterwards, there's shower facilities, there's everything you could need or want, I should say, to have a workout, to exercise, to just maybe relieve some stress. And that's one of the things about the college is it's small enough that they care about each individual student, and it's not just a number. I know I went to college and I felt like just another number. But students tell me all the time about how they like that they actually get to know their professors and almost build a camaraderie with them.
So I would like to mention the career services, and the career services is an office on campus that really strives to do three things. It helps students to explore possible careers and different types of jobs, and also set career goals. It also helps to prepare students, so they can help students learn how to write cover letters, write their resumes, and also learn how to do interviews, gain some interviewing skills and networking. And then they also help with helping students and alumni find jobs.
I would like to talk about the tutoring and testing center. The testing center is really helping students to get prepared for different types of tests. And also it is actually that the main goal is to encourage students to be successful in their higher education and to offer many opportunities in their academic career. And also the tutoring center offers the support for students who face challenges in their courses. So there will be tutoring services offered by peers or faculty. And also in addition to that, there will be many resources will be available in the tutoring center, which will be really helpful for the students to be successful in their studies.
That's the thing about the college at WVU Parkersburg. We are very focused on everything it takes for the students to succeed. We even have a food pantry dedicated to help students who might be in a food crisis, and it's anonymous for the students. It's always well stocked, and there's no judgment of anybody. Anybody can come in at any time and get help, because you can't study when you're hungry. And in addition, not just the food pantry, but our foundation also has a fund set up for students in financial crisis as well. We have grants for emergency situations that can help people pay for things like their electric or their gas bill, or even gasoline for their car if they're in an emergency for some circumstance. So we're very, very dedicated to being able to help students make it and to be able to succeed. In addition to those practical things, as far as just like making ends meet, I know Gary, you might talk a little bit about some of the other things that are available with the student support services that tie in nicely with that as well.
Well, so let's face it, being a college student is really just an extension of life. And the fact of the matter is that sometimes all of us need some help and support in a longer term fashion. And sometimes we have crises or emergencies that need to be dealt with immediately. And so on campus, we have an office called Student Support Services. It's run by Kurt Klettner. He is an absolutely wonderful gentleman, and he has three basic functionaries under his umbrella. The first is Veteran Services. It's operated by Darren Shearlock, and that office is designed to help our veterans transfer from the military mindset and move into and succeed in the college and academic world. The second part of this is counseling services. Kurt offers the counseling services himself. He is trained and professional counselor, and he offers counseling students not only for students but also for faculty and staff at the college. Because let's face it, every one of us has problems and crises that we have to deal with sometimes. That's the beauty of this campus, is that we have services on campus to help with those. And finally, we have Bob Beutner, who helps students manage things like applications for SNAP, that is food assistance, ongoing food assistance for families, or the 10th program, which is a housing program to help students pay for the housing that they need to live in. So I think that this office really provides critical care services that everyone at the college can participate in.
I would like to give a shout out to our professional advising center. It's called the PAC. Imagine you're fresh and new to college, and you kind of get lost. You have a program and you know what you're supposed to be studying, but then you need to find your classes, and you need to find your classes and fit it to your schedule. And with the academic advising center, you have 5 professionals who are dedicated helping you figuring out which classes to take, finding classes that fit into your schedule, working with you if you want to apply credits from other colleges. They usually advise only students that have less than 30 college credits. So it's usually students within their first year of college education, but they know what they are doing and they can tell you which classes to take. And once you're kind of secure in your study habits and you having success, then you will actually get an advisor that will help you find your specific classes. So like it's assume that you're in one of the STEM programs. The first 2 semesters you have the professional advising center helping you, and then you will get one of the faculty members as your advisor. But I love this service because it helps students who would not know the ropes without the help, and they know the extra tricks that maybe I wouldn't know. And so good shout out to them.
Yeah, I would also like to add what Gary had said about the Veterans Resource Center. It is designed for veterans of military service. It's people that are returning, but also depends on your MOS that you had while you were in the military. They will help you figure out which classes will actually move over to the college level side. So it gives you credit for the classes you've already taken where you've already had that skill in. They help you test out. They're just dedicated only for veterans, but they will help anyone who asks. So it's a very good resource, and it's a good place to hang out if you want to hang out with other veterans of the same service or the different services that are here at the time. So that is headed by Darren Sherlock, I believe. He's usually there. You can drop in anytime and start up a conversation.
And I'll speak to the Alumni Association. They're trying to make connections between our graduates. As Holly mentioned earlier, with the career services, there may be graduates that are looking to transition so that they can provide some of those services for them. They may also be working at a company and looking for employees. So it provides a connection there as well to have a place to go and try to look for like-minded individuals. They may have been through our programs and understand the quality and what they're going to get. So just trying to keep those connections between our graduates, because certainly once they leave the campus, that doesn't mean they're, they leave WVP. We want them to be involved. We want them to be active in the programs to help make decisions to make sure that we're moving in the right direction. So.
All right, awesome. Thank you guys for sharing so much about the different services that we have available for students to ensure that they're successful, not only in your guys' classes, but also outside of the classroom. Let's turn it over to Barbara to share a little bit about some of the different ways students can finance their education or what supports are out there to help students pay for their coursework.
Thanks, Kenna. We have multiple options and opportunities for students to seek financial assistance during their endeavor to continue their higher education. First and foremost, we encourage them to always fill out the FAFSA form. It's easy to get started. They just need to provide us with some basic personal information and tax documents. They can apply online directly through the FAFSA website at fasa.gov or by downloading the My Student Aid mobile app to complete the form. With completing the FAFSA, they are offered multiple opportunities to assist by getting grant opportunities, work study opportunities, as well as to see if they're eligible for federal loan opportunities. Secondly, we do offer West Virginia Invest. It is a state funded grant program. It covers the full cost of basic tuition and fees for select certificate and associate degree programs. Overall, there are over 11 certificate and 14 associate degree programs here at WVUP Parkersburg that we do offer. And a lot of those programs, as you'll see on your screen, we did cover tonight through our STEM division. As far as another option goes, Ascend is a research program that's offered to 2 West Virginia colleges currently. It is a grant-focused program. Within the Ascend program, students are offered extra support to ensure that they complete their certificate and associate degrees within 3 years of starting college. They are also offered additional student services, such as, a more personal approach to advising, additional career counseling, as well as waivers for tuition and more. And lastly, the last thing I'll hit on is here at WVUP Parkersburg, we do offer a variety of scholarship opportunities. We have a on-campus foundation. A student can submit 1 application per academic year and see if they're eligible for over 84 scholarship opportunities. They can find that application directly through our website.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Barbie, for sharing some of those different financial options. I think maybe the most important question for those who are watching with us tonight is, how do they become a student at WVUP?
We highly encourage them to start off by coming out to the college for a visit. We offer personalized tours, and it really allows for a student to get a true feel of our campus environment if they come out and visit us. They can also visit our website to explore our campus opportunities and academic offerings online, from their home. In addition to that, their initial step would be to complete their application for admission. They can do it directly on the website listed on your screen, and it is free to apply.
Awesome. So we are going to wrap up. Thank you to everybody who's been watching with us. If there are any last minute questions, go ahead and drop those in the box. We'll give it just a few seconds. It does look like maybe we do have a question. Barbie, can you share what a student can do if they need help on their FAFSA?
Absolutely. If a student needs FAFSA assistance, we do have multiple financial aid counselors available on site who would be more than willing to sit down with them to help them to complete their FAFSA or answer any additional questions they may need answered.
All right. Awesome. It looks like that might be the last question. I am going to go ahead and put that QR code back up on everyone's screen. If you want to learn more about any of these programs we've talked about tonight and maybe get an individualized tour and see some of the spaces you would be in as a student, maybe meet some of our lovely panelists in real life and talk to them about their classes and the things you would be learning, please definitely reach out. Scan this QR code and fill out the information. We'll be reaching out to you, or you can click that link that's dropped in the comments below. Thank you to all of our panelists for spending a little bit of time with us this evening to share more about their programs and their experience teaching and working at WVUP. And thank you guys for joining us for our final installment of our Division Showcase series. I hope everybody has a great evening.
Thanks, Kenna.
Thank you.